your request to the Brooklyn Posse.
Hello and welcome to Freaky Fitz Friday Live. What's up, YouTube? My name is Dr. Lauren Fitz, and I am your host of the Fitz and Healthy podcast. And I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Cinthanie from Cinthanie.com. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl. Hi.
Hi, girl. Hi. And I think that we are live on Facebook. So hello and welcome to Freaky Fitz Friday Live. So I know that some of you guys are wondering, one, wait, why are we seeing you live on Friday morning? And two, I'm sure some of you guys are wondering why you're seeing me on my personal page. Well, the fact is that we want to change things up so that we can have a larger reach, because Fitz Friday Q&A Live and all of our podcasts that we do for the Fitz and Healthy podcast are here to help you become a healthier, happier version of yourself, right? And starting your day off with some laughter, with some entertainment, with some fun knowledge, you can't go wrong. So what's up, girl? Talk to me. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I love that it's Freaky Friday, like Freaky Fitz
right?
Friday.
So this is a surprise to you because yet again, we're doing I hit you with the last minute stuff. Like, what are we talking about today? And your face when I told you it was going to be Freaky Fitz Friday, you were like, oh Lord.
Like, okay.
Ooh, okay. But the reason why I wanted to start off this live, and of course I want to make sure that everyone knows that we on this format on Friday, we are open to all questions. Oftentimes we'll have questions that pertain to the topic, but don't hesitate. If you've been wanting to ask us any questions and something pops into your head, please write in the comments on the YouTube channel or on Facebook, and Cinthanie will screen those. We can't have any nasty, dirty questions. I'm just going to say. Or maybe we can today because it's Freaky Fitz Friday.
This is true. Well, I think we should just be careful.
I know.
Just open Pandora's box.
Right.
I have every right to read your question and not read it
and
out
ignore
loud.
it. Yes.
Just know.
Exactly. Sorry. So last Friday we actually did it at a different time. So I was in London and it was nighttime and the connection was terrible. So we actually, we actually in editing for the audio for the actual podcast episode of that, it was just so terrible. We trashed it. But I'm kind of sad about it.
First time we have ever
I know
trashed an episode.
I know. I'm so sad about it too, because it was so fun to see all of my new UK friends in the background that came and photobombed or video bombed in the background of the live recording. But today I titled this Freaky Fitz Friday for a few reasons. It's kind of dual purpose and it can kind of go in either direction. But obviously Halloween is next week, right? And I was thinking, so tonight I am teaching at a yoga studio down the way. One of my closest friends here in SoCal, shout out to Tana. She actually takes my class on a regular basis, but she also teaches yoga at Vibes Hot Yoga. And so once a month, I think it's like the last Friday of each month, Vibes Hot Yoga does this special like glow party. And tonight it's Halloween themed. And so she does the yoga to hip hop music. And then I will teach a few Club Fitz hip hop songs, which, for yogis, most yogis have never like shaken their booty and gotten, ratchet, right? So we did the first version of this last month and it was a huge success. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So we're going to do a repeat of it tonight, but it's costumes, right? And this time of year is so funny because you definitely see the freaky side of people.
In more ways than one.
Right. And I know there are some people that are huge Halloween fans and they start planning months in advance for what their Halloween costume is. And then there's people like me that literally wait till last minute. Like the thing is tonight, it starts at 6. It's basically so there's a sponsor. It's called Voco, and it's a new drink. It's an alcoholic beverage that combines vodka with coconut water. So it's, if you're gonna drink, it's probably one of the healthier ways to do it.
Hydrating, but
Yeah.
also still alcohol.
Yeah. Last month it was sponsored by a champagne company, and people were getting liquored up before. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. I know. But it's funny because some people will joke with me, like, I couldn't take your class unless I had a little alcohol on board. And a little is the key, because I don't need to see projectile in the middle of booty popping,
I was gonna say, I don't think that me drinking and doing that would be a good idea.
No. In fact, there was one time when I lived in Japan. So the officers' wives, the officers' spouse, what is it? There's like an organization that is for the officers' spouses, and they all like, because a lot of them are, they're concerned with their image. I'll just put it that way, right?
Okay.
And a lot of them wanted to try it, but were intimidated to try my class because, what would people think, right?
Yeah.
So they hired me to teach them literally at the club. Yeah, we literally had the whole club, because on Misawa Air Force Base there's only one club, and basically they booked the whole place, and these ladies, the ladies and one gentleman who was an officer spouse, got liquored up before, and I got on stage, and it was so funny. I got to see the freaky side of those people.
But alcohol makes you do that. Like at my wedding, there were so many people that would never ever dance in front of people ever unless they had had a drink or two.
Yes.
Which it's hilarious to watch. It really is. So
yeah, and I know that you saw the picture that I posted on the Fitz and Healthy podcast. Yeah. Oh my gosh, shout out to Lori, because Lori got the perfect picture right there of you popping the booty and me being like, look at that. Right?
That's basically sums up the whole night. In that
pretty much.
If you wanted to know what my wedding was like, that was it.
Pretty much. But I wanted to title this Freaky Fitz Friday for a couple of reasons, because we do a song in my class by Trey Songz called Animals. And every time, so it talks about like your inner freak and letting the animal come out in you. And this is something that it's one of my favorite things about teaching dance fitness, and particularly my own style and format of dance fitness, because I take pride in one of two things. Well, I take pride in a lot of things, but the two things that come to mind first are helping females connect with that inner sexual being that is suppressed in so many of us because of where we were raised, no matter where in the world, religious ways that we were raised in, or just like the fear of the pressures of especially nowadays, social media and what will people think? There, so many women are scared to get in touch with that inner, I like to say my inner Beyonce, right? But not everyone loves Beyonce like I do, but I do believe that everyone has that inner sexual being, right? And then that inner like freaky freak. Right. And so there's this one part in the song where we point to our head and talking about connecting with that inner freak. And I always let people know it's okay. We all have that inner freak.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to see the lady's face, whether I'm doing a master class or whether it's the girls in my class. Because I do have men that take my class, but it's a majority females.
Yeah.
You know? And I always wonder what the dudes that are taking my class, what's going on in their brain when because dudes have freaky sides too. I'm not, we all do. We all do. But that's what I love about Halloween is that it's kind of like a get out of jail free pass for people to let out that freaky side, right?
Totally. Like Halloween is the one day of the year that you can be whatever you want and no one can judge you for it.
Exactly.
Nobody can judge you for it.
Exactly. So are you one of those people that plans in advance for Halloween, or do you just kind of throw it together?
Like one of my favorite holidays, like probably like Christmas and Halloween are my top favorite holidays.
Okay.
But this year and last year, I have been last minute Lucy about like if I'm going to dress up or what I'm going to do.
Nice.
Last year, I was a mermaid.
Okay.
But years before, I have like planned and bought costumes and stuff like that. So
Okay. So what was your most favorite costume? I'm just curious.
there was one that I was like a schoolgirl, and it was so comfortable. Like I was I was in combat boots, so I was really comfortable the whole day. So
Yes.
that was my favorite one.
I love it. It's all about the comfort level.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what was your freakiest costume? Because I know that you have a few in there.
I was a sexy cop one year.
Okay.
I think that it was either that or my schoolgirl one was probably the freakiest Halloween.
Freaky in a naughty schoolgirl kind of way.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I've actually dressed up in a sexy freaky costume.
Yeah.
But it's funny, it was actually before medical school, and I was a sexy doctor, and I literally like pushed the boobs up in cleavage.
Find your best push-up bra.
Yep. No, it's funny because my best friend Alyssa, she her job, she worked at the Clinique counter in college, and so she had a white jacket, right? So it looked like a doctor coat, and so I like literally the bra got like pushed the boobs up, major cleavage, and had a short mini skirt, and then had that Clinique jacket on that looked like a white coat, had some glasses, and so,
totally.
I could probably do that now, but I'm gonna be an 80s workout person tonight for the Halloween glow party. Yeah.
Love it.
So I think you're probably too young for this, but do you remember the whole thong leotard stage?
Yes. No,
okay.
Totally.
Okay. Cause I went through that stage because I was a teenager, because when that was kind of popular, that style. And in my dance studio, I would have the thong leotard over, pants. So it wasn't showing like
over leggings.
Exactly.
With leg warmers.
Exactly.
And headband.
Exactly. So tonight I didn't go out and buy one, but literally what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of my G-string underwear and put it over and then put a black tank top. And so it make it look like, and then
nice.
I do have leg warmers and a headband and wristbands.
That's hilarious.
Yep. That's what I'm going to do.
I love that you're wearing underwear over.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
Totally.
Again, like I said, it's the one time of the year that nobody can judge you for what you dress up as.
Exactly. So I think one thing before we get to questions that I wanted to address is that the importance of getting in touch with that freaky side. And this Halloween is a great time to practice, but I beg you to not just practice getting in touch with your freaky side one time a year, but it does take getting out of your comfort zone, because like you said, this is the one time a year that it's okay. But why is that? It's because people won't look at you funny, right? Because, well, it's Halloween. Of course, I'm going to dress up like this dominatrix that's about to go into S&M.
Yeah.
And for the kids listening, that just,
You'll figure it out when you're older.
One day. But getting past your mindset of, oh my gosh, what is anyone going to think about me? And especially if you're in a relationship, whether it's your spouse or a significant other or fiance or whatever, I challenge you to get in touch with that freaky side. I always like, because, every playlist I do always has at least 2 or 3 songs that you are going like bedroom dance, right?
You put on your bedroom eyes.
Exactly. And, I think that that's one of the reason that women love my class so much, is because that side is in us all. Right. But so many women don't feel comfortable, like even, would blush at the idea of dancing like that for their man or their woman, you know?
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite compliments is when people come and tell me, my spouse is really happy that I come to your class. I'm like, yes.
And you picked up a couple new tricks.
Yeah, exactly. And not just learning how to move your body, but learning how to let's face it, women, if you ignore, sorry, my eyelash got stuck in my eyeball. If you saw that weird look, if you ignore the fact that men are visual, you are living in a state of denial. And that doesn't mean that you have to have a perfect body, look perfectly made up all the time, but just be aware that, whether you're in a stage like me where I'm a single female and I'm definitely like the way in which I hold myself, the way in which I present myself has everything to do with if the opposite sex is going to be attracted to me or not. Or you're a married woman and you always need to be aware of that element of attraction, right?
Yeah, it's part of how we're designed. I mean, sexuality is a part of literally how we're created, how we exist, how we stay here. It's a huge part of who we are primally. And so there's nothing wrong with feeling sexy or being empowered by that, especially if you do have a partner. Like, if you can step outside of your mind and how you feel about it, you have to remember that, like, they're with you for a reason. They do find you attractive. They do find you sexy. Like, they do see that in you. And so you just have to allow yourself to see yourself the way that they do so that you can step into your power and feel sexy and get your freak on.
Exactly. Exactly. And ladies, don't stop doing what you did to initially attract your man, guys. If
stay dating, always date your spouse, always.
And like little things that women don't think about, like your posture. If you're literally the tiniest movement of millimeters of your shoulders, like you can go from this to this, and all of a sudden you portray a woman that's insecure to a woman that's like, what you got? Bring it on,
Your body language, the way that you present yourself. Yeah,
exactly. And that all goes to visual. And this is all back to my whole Freaky Friday, right? Because what especially with men, and that's men are attracted with eyeballs. We women are attracted what's in between our ears, our brain.
I think we're still visual too, though.
Well, yeah,
we don't. Yeah. It's not that we don't appreciate God's good work too. So
no, for sure. But I can see a really attractive dude, and the moment he opens his mouth, if he's an idiot, I'm like,
bye.
Yeah. There is no excitation going on. If a good looking dude,
that.
No, but a dude is different. Like a dude, if a woman is a straight 10 that could be on the cover of a Victoria's Secret catalog, it doesn't matter what she says, because they're visual.
True.
So
true.
Yes, we women are visual, but oh man, but yeah. So do we have any questions that we need to address yet? I haven't even. Sweet.
So Hind wants to know, can you please give me some tips that can help me get rid of my laziness and start working out at home, especially in the morning? I think that kind of goes perfectly with what we're talking about, though.
I think so.
Just stepping into your power, just knowing that you're able to do that.
I totally agree. So laziness, ultimately it's a choice. It is something that I think that it's an excuse of people to easily say, well, I'm just a lazy person. Well, no, you choose to be lazy, and that's today. You have a choice to not be lazy. A lot of people do better with trying to change their habits when they have a person that joins them in that journey. Because I mean, what was the name of the person who questioned that?
Hind. H-I-N-D.
Hind, you are not alone. And a majority of people, that's what they struggle with. Too lazy to exercise, too lazy to food prep, too lazy to educate themselves on the right things to eat. So find someone that's like-minded, that's a positive not role model, but influence in your life, and do it together, and help hold each other accountable. I know that like in my challenge group right now, we're basically partnering up with someone else that's doing the exact same home workout program. And so I'm doing P90X, and my friend Jessica Young, shout out to Jessica. What's up, girl? We text each other almost daily. Like I did a Tuesday is the plyometric P90X P90X workout, and it's my least favorite because it's hard.
Yeah.
And so I messaged her if she already got it done. She's like, yep. And I'm like, I'm just starting, and it was like 7 p.m. It's painful, but I got it done. And you know, that's the best way to start, you know, changing bad habits into good habits.
Yeah. And especially, I think that your mental space is really important. If you sit there and tell yourself, I have horrible habits, I can't change them, I don't know how to, like, you are just reaffirming that to yourself. So I think that your thought process of knowing, like I said, that you are able and willing, that you have a body that is able and willing to be able to exercise and move the way that it was designed and be fed the way it was designed, like, that's in itself is motivating. That's something that you have to keep in mind. So definitely what you tell yourself you're capable of will manifest itself in your actions. So
Absolutely.
be kind to yourself and know that you can do it. Know that you're capable.
Absolutely. It all starts with the mind.
Mm-hmm. So Jennifer wants to know, she said, what do you guys find is the best way to regain your confidence after you've been on a low about yourself?
What are your thoughts?
Honestly, like what we just talked about, I really think mindset has a lot to do with it, because what you tell yourself is what manifests in your life. And so I think it's really important, the things that you tell yourself. And I don't think we always realize our negative self-talk, because we think that we're just processing something and we're just understanding it, but really, like, it's negative self-talk and we're reaffirming our fears. So really changing your mental space, the way that you think about yourself and the way that you view what you're capable of, I think is so important. Like, that's your biggest tool and your biggest asset. So it's either going to work against you or for you.
Absolutely. I was actually, because, you know, I mentor a lot of, I have 2 roles. I coach in my challenge groups for my clients, and my coaches I mentor. And one of the young ladies that I'm mentoring is, you know, struggling with that same thing. And she's, you know, in her mid-20s, and she really hasn't had a serious relationship yet. And just hearing her, you know, her fears and her mindset is definitely a mindset of scarcity. Like, well, you know, what's wrong with me? And you really do have to start with that, those, it's Shonda. I mean, again, it's that voice Shonda that is
#shut up Shonda.
Exactly. That you really, like you said, I don't think most people are aware of. And it starts with, as cheesy as it sounds, get up in the morning and look at yourself and be like, you are one sexy, you know what? And I know that some of you guys are going to be like, oh, that's so woo woo, but I'm telling you, like, you change what your thoughts are, and you can change everything in your life. Everything.
Yes. Yeah. And you can be living the exact same life, but with a different perspective, it's going to feel like it's a totally different life.
Absolutely. And little other pointers, literally, like, think about your posture, the way in which you hold yourself, like I was saying earlier, will literally help change your mindset. Because if you're walking around slumped over, like you're not worth being loved, that's how people are going to perceive you. So love yourself, hold yourself up, hold that head up, literally. And at first, especially people that have terrible posture, you're going to feel like so awkward. You're awkward.
Real awkward.
You're gonna feel real awkward. You're gonna feel real awkward when you start to really think about walking with your shoulders back. But I want you to think about squeezing your scapula. Like, if you had a pencil in the middle part of your upper back and your scapula is trying to keep that pencil in, like, that's where I want you to go. And literally walking around with your head held high and your shoulders back can literally just change your mindset.
Yeah.
And so
if there is somebody that you can think of in your mind and you're like, that person breathes confidence and happiness and, like, they're what I want to be like. This is going to sound woo-woo, but imagine that you are them. Like, if they were in the situation you're in right now, how would they carry themselves? And then go about it that way until that is how you carry yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, with Sasha Fierce, Beyonce, you know, like,
exactly. An alter ego.
Yes, an alter ego, as cheesy as it may sound, but like, I see it all the time that Sasha Fierce come out in my classes, and then the moment that they leave, they're back to their, like, insecure ways, and you know, it's like, no, keep that Sasha Fierce mentality of, like, I am a bad, you know what, and yes,
Yeah.
I deserve to be loved because I am all of that and some.
Yeah.
And even if you don't believe it, that it starts with that thought process.
Telling yourself that.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, man, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect someone to love you?
Yeah.
You know,
No, true.
so it starts with self-love.
Something that I practice every single morning. And if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow my stories, you see that I have a morning routine. And a part of that morning routine, I'm very open about it, is that I have morning affirmations.
I love that. Yes.
I sat down and wrote down the things that I want to hear myself tell myself and the things that I want to manifest in my life. And it's not that I'm just like, okay, I'm going to tell myself and it's going to happen. Like, I still try to act upon those affirmations, but just starting out your day, like, your voice in your head is you are the first person you talk to in the day, to put it basically. And so, like, the things that you tell yourself first thing in the morning are the way you start your day. So if you can even just sit down and identify who you want to be, who your best self is, and write those into affirmations and have that be the first thing that you talk about with yourself every morning, I don't think that it'll hurt. It definitely will. For me, it's a huge difference. Like, it totally changes the tone of my day.
And the affirmation that I want everyone to write today is, I'm a freak and I'm okay with it. It's okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's okay. We all have our inner freaky freak. And I want people to learn to accept it, not just on Halloween when their costume comes out and they have a get out of jail free pass to be freaky. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any more questions before we get going?
Does reggaeton make your freaky side come out, or just hip hop?
There's a lot of things that make my freaky side come out. I'm not gonna lie.
And it's different for everybody, like, totally different for everybody. That's why I think people, like, love music so much. And I think that's why a lot of music has sexual connotations and stuff in it, because,
Absolutely.
like, it validates people. Like, people are like, well, I'm just listening to this song because I like it. But the words validate their inner freak. I really think that's why people like it as much as they do.
Yes.
I mean,
dance.
You are when you're in the car by yourself singing. That's me all the time.
But this is why I think everyone, both male and female, should dance, because it's the closest thing to sex as possible. And
true.
you know, and I mean, it's therapeutic. Of course, I get a workout, but I don't do Club Fitz for the workout. I get it for all of the other reasons. And but honestly, reggaeton, like, if reggaeton was on in the bedroom, I probably would be like, next. I'm just going to put it out there.
Well, yeah, it's just different for everybody. Like,
yes.
And that's the thing is like, you have to be okay with what your preferences are, because they're different from someone else. So
exactly.
I think that's why people feel like so private and like timid about it, is because they feel like people are going to think that they're weird for like preferences or the things that they like. And like, that's individual. That's for you and yourself and whoever you are with, your partner or whatever, you know.
You've never taken a Zumba class, right?
I think I maybe did years ago. Like,
all I know is that if I hear reggaeton, all I see in my head is the Zumba crazies going single, double. And that's just not sexy to me.
But again, there might be people that go to Zumba and that's the sexiest part of their day.
Exactly.
You know? Like, it's definitely different for everybody. So you just have to identify what makes you freaky.
Yep.
Stay in touch with it.
Exactly.
So Isabel asked, and there was actually a question on Instagram that I got that's this exact same question, but it's, what are your thoughts on flu vaccines, Lauren?
That's a good question. Okay. So I am a medical doctor, but I'm not y'all's medical doctor. And these are just my opinions based on my own life experience and whatnot. That being said, I will let you know that obviously the vaccine topic is a huge controversial topic.
Yeah.
And I will let you know that all of the years that I was practicing medicine, they always require, from the time that you're a med student and beyond, they require people to get flu vaccines. And if you don't, you have to basically sign a waiver and wear a stupid mask throughout flu season. And flu season is pretty long. That's a ton of months. The one year that I got the flu vaccine, I felt like crap for at least 2 or 3 days. And I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. And so I was always that one person that went against the grain. And I practiced medicine for many years, and I told him I'm not going to get the flu vaccine. So that's me. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right thing for you.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a carte blanche. Vaccines are bad for everyone. There's definitely a patient population that I do think should get them. But I personally don't get the flu vaccine. And one thing that I think that a lot of people underestimate is if you are feeding your body with good nutrition and you're not feeding your body with crap food, your immune system will work the way it's supposed to. But so many people underestimate the power of their immune system. And when it's exposed to a flu virus, if you have a healthy immune system, you're going to be able to tackle that flu virus way better than if your immune system is crap. But you don't hear that from your primary care doctor of, well, strengthen your immune system by changing your food, getting all the processed foods out, cutting out this, cutting out that, and I mean, like literally, obviously you and I both drink Shakeology every day. I think that that's probably one of the main reasons that I haven't gotten sick in 2 years.
Totally.
My immune system is boom. So yeah. Sure. So, okay. Next question.
Okay. So Erin, first of all, I have to say shout out to Erin because she was my wedding coordinator.
Shout out to Erin. What's up, girl? She did good.
She did. And now she's in one of my challenge groups. So
yay.
Yeah. But she said, do you think that having an accountability partner or person helps motivate a little bit more to work out?
Go for it, Cinthanie.
I think that it can be yes and no.
Okay.
Because, and I'll tell you why. Yes, I think that it is so important to have somebody in your corner. That's why Lauren and I have jobs as coaches, because people, it's not that they need resources for more healthy things. There's plenty of that everywhere. They need accountability. They just need somebody in their corner to tell them they can do it. But one of the hard things is when you are living with someone and you try to decide to do it together, and if one of you fails at it or something, sometimes I feel like people will use that excuse to be like, well, they didn't hold me accountable, so I didn't do good. So I think it's definitely, you have to be you have to be very, very selective about who your accountability partner is, but you can't put all of it riding on somebody else, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's your choices that you're making. It's your body that you're working on, your health that you are being mindful of, and you can't blame that on somebody else. You cannot say, well, because this person doesn't eat this way, I can't either. Yes, you can. Maybe you can be the example. Maybe you can set the first example, So,
well, and honestly,
you got to be perfect.
I think accountability is a false security, because the reality is, you and I both hold our customers in our challenge group accountable. But the fact is, even if I lived in the same city as these people and went to their house every day, I can't make them choose the right foods to eat and exercise. I can't. Yeah. So at the end of the day, accountability is just a false security for someone like, okay, well, I told Lauren that I was going to press play today, so I'm going to do it. But at the end of the day, you made that decision
for you.
Exactly. So yeah, I know I'm totally on the same page. It never ceases to amaze me. Someone will reach out to me, and I'm always open if, someone in the whole Beachbody coaching world, they've tried coaching and it hasn't worked for them, and they reach out to me and they're like, I really think I want to switch to you and build my business. Like, okay, that's cool. But you got to remember that, yes, having a strong mentor helps, but at the end of the day, it's you.
If it's important to you, you will do it. You are the master crafter of your decisions.
Yep.
So you may have influence, but I think sometimes people mistake influence as somewhere to place blame other than themselves if they're not happy with their decisions. So I definitely think it's important to have somebody in your corner to tell you you can do it, because sometimes we aren't there mentally to be able to tell ourselves that we can do it. But at the end of the day, it's your decision, and you have to step into your power and know that you are doing and practicing habits that are going to help you become your best self. And that is the best accountability that you can give yourself.
And to add to that, I think that who you surround yourself with
Yes.
will help you go in the right direction or hinder you and hold you back.
Totally.
Because if you are surrounded by positive people that believe in you and they see that moment where you're like struggling, come on, girl, no, you got this. Stop.
Yeah.
I know that you're sore from yesterday's workout, but let's work through this and let's do this. You got this, you know?
Yeah, that's why you and I have challenge groups. That's why we have accountability groups, because it's a community that you're put in to thrive in.
Absolutely.
So that you have a place where, like I said, you feel validated, and it's a community that supports you and will help you when you need it. But you ultimately have to do it for you. It's something that you have to be okay with in your mind and commit to.
Yep.
And then the community and the accountability from others is just complementing the decision and the promise that you've already made to yourself to do better.
Absolutely. So we don't have any questions about our inner freaky freak. I'm kind of disappointed.
But that's just going to prove
Hello.
the point, though. That just proves the point, though, that people are a little bit scared to talk about their inner freaky freak, but we all have it. Like I said, in music, it validates people because it's talked about. That's like the only place it's talked about, you know? So
Yep. I'm kind of sad. I mean, I wanted to have some awkward questions that made the listeners feel uncomfortable.
maybe this is just the first layer of the onion. Maybe we're gonna have to bring this up again in a couple months. We'll ease you guys into it. We'll get there.
All right. You know, I've actually toyed with the idea of having an episode in which we basically tell people it's R-rated, but talk about sex. Because, you know, this is
give
healthy.
Us, if you want us to have an episode about that, go ahead and give us some kind of a like or some hearts right now, so that you don't have to comment if you don't want to, because you're scared to talk about it. But just give us some likes or comment or hearts if you guys want us to do an episode. Would that benefit you guys? Would you want to hear us talk about that?
Because, I mean, let's just face it. Good sex, a healthy sex life has everything to do with you being more fit and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can I get an amen?
Amen. There is a lot of hearts and laughing faces.
Yes.
So I think it's something that we need to do.
and in that episode, we will talk about not just sex with your partner, but sex with yourself, because that needs to be put out there. I'm just going to say that. Right?
Okay, we're just gonna dive in.
Yep, we are. Not on this episode, but yeah.
But eventually we will.
Yeah, eventually we will.
Gotta give the people what they want.
Right? Okay, do we have any more questions before we wrap our Freaky Fitz Friday up?
Nope, we are good.
Okay, so before we end, I want to ask people whether you're watching this on live. Oh boy, what are you laughing at?
So Erin, my wedding coordinator, commented and she said that I have video of y'all freaky freaks on the dance floor. I believe it.
Yep, I am proud of that. Thank you very much.
Totally.
I am totally proud and connected to my inner freaky freak, and I am not ashamed of it. No, but before we go, I want to get people's feedback, whether you're listening live with us right now, or maybe you might be watching the replay. We're kind of experimenting with times, because we like this open format where we can interact with you guys and read your questions and read your comments. And this is how we ultimately form a relationship that's more than just you listening to our podcasts that are pre-recorded. So Fitz Fridays have usually been at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we were kind of talking, our team, the Fitz and Healthy podcast team, we're like, I think that time is rough because people are picking up kids and
the middle of the day.
The middle of the day. Yeah. And so we thought about possibly doing later, but then, people are on dates or doing, their Friday night, whatever. And so we're experimenting with this time, and kind of like almost like your radio talk show that you're driving to work with, listening to
your morning show.
Exactly. To just, it's give yourself a smile, a laugh, some entertainment, and start your Friday off in a fun way. So we want to hear feedback. Yeah. Go ahead.
We actually have a poll going on our Instagram stories. You can vote for what time you would want us to do it. So if you're not following us on Instagram, you need to be, first of all. It's FITZ and AND Healthy podcast. And then in our Instagram stories, we're taking a poll. So go vote whether you want to do morning shows or afternoon shows and what time you want.
Yay!
We want to show up for you. So just let us know. We'll give the people what they want, but you just got to tell us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And any topics that you guys want to talk about.
Yes.
We're going to be our episode that's dropping on Monday. We're talking about sugar, and it's completely planned to be right before Halloween because the next day, a lot of you guys are going to be tempted to be sugar overloaded.
Yes.
And I'm not going to tell you that don't eat sugar on Halloween because I mean, let's be realistic. A majority of people will, but I want people to understand that, you know what, it is within you to not eat sugar on that day.
Yeah.
And
totally.
if you're someone that has always been like, oh, I can't resist temptation, I challenge you to question that and see if you can, because I 100% believe that if you set your mind to it, you can.
Totally.
So, all right. So anything else before we get going?
We have one more question.
Okay.
What are some of the key phrases, Lisa wants to know, what are some of the key phrases you use in class that motivate your students to get freaky?
You know, I think honestly, that's a great question. Lisa, by the way, thank you for that. So I think one, and you guys have heard me talk about the importance that we have as the instructor, because we set the mood and the tone and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in that class. And I think that you as the instructor from the get-go, if you're that instructor that's there for you, that's worried about your hair looking perfect and your makeup looking perfect, and this is the me show, then you are setting a tone and a vibe in that class for people to not feel comfortable to just release, right? So I always try, and I think that this is something that surprises people, because a lot of people just watch me on YouTube, and what you see from the video, that 3 or 4 minute video, and then you take my master class and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like, you're so much better, because I'm very aware of making them realize, like, I mean, I smile so much because I want them to feel comfortable, and I want them to realize that, look, this is, and I always say that before my Club Fitz master classes, this is a judge-free zone. No one is watching you. Everyone's trying to watch the instructor to see what the hell they're doing.
And everybody's worrying about what they look like. So they're not worrying about what you look like.
No, not at all. And so establishing that kind of tone, that rule, I think is the most important thing. So I don't think it's anything per se that I say. But I think it's the energy and vibe that I bring to class as the instructor.
You carry yourself.
Exactly. Unless there's a particular song that literally is like Animals, Trey Songz Animals, where I literally like, it's okay, everybody's got an inner freak, because, you know, that always makes them smile, but then it also makes them realize, okay, she's right. And I can, you know, I can bring my hands down and touch my body because it's my body, and that's like, I'm a sexual creature because that's the way we were designed. Otherwise we wouldn't have procreated. And I mean, it's okay to like strip that down, hands on my body, and strip that down. Like literally the first time people see me do that choreography, they're like, and then they're like, oh, this is kind of fun. I'm touching my whole body, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you slap that ass and people are like, whoa.
Love it.
But never take yourself too serious. Like, you know, this side is, it's inside of us all, but
totally.
Some people have, it's like the onion. Some people have more layers that need to be unfolded and peeled back before they get to that inner freaky freak.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like, it's fun to just not care. Like, it's so much fun to just not care.
Yes, for sure. For sure. All right. Any other comments or questions before we get going?
No, we're good.
Excellent.
Everybody go be freaky.
Yeah. Exactly.
Be safe, but
exactly. And if you guys haven't gone to the podcast app on your iPhone, or non-iPhone users, Stitch or Podbean, or there's a few other different podcast apps, but if you haven't gone and searched Fitz, F-I-T-Z, the and symbol, Healthy, Fitz and Healthy, go subscribe to us. And we appreciate you greatly by taking the time to do a review, because that helps the searchability of our podcast be greater.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we don't make money from this podcast, guys. So we are truly not a single dime. We are truly doing this for you guys so that you can have the tools to be more Fitz and healthy. So Cinthanie, you want to end them off with our message that we end every show in?
Yes. You are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you.
And freaky things, just like
freaky things.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a freaky Friday, and we'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE, and on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and healthy life.